Let me in before I rot completely.
Oh God, what the hell? Okay, hello?
Now we turn to a young real estate agent who was busy filming multiple clips to showcase a new listing that was scheduled to hit the market soon. While she worked through the shots, an unexpected series of strange events began to unfold on camera.
63 MacLeod. Go ahead, do it again.
Friends later suggested the place could be haunted, arguing that the objects crashing down might be the work of a poltergeist. The following happened to a young man inside his home. The case is completely chilling. It was very late at night when this young man was awakened by the noise of a toy located across from his bedroom door. The disturbing part is that to activate, you had to physically press a button. This is where everything began.
No. No puede ser. No. ¿Qué? ¿Me vas a comer? No, me vas a comer. Me vas a comer bien la... ¿Eh? Ya paranormal. Yo huevo, ¿eh? Ahí va. Tuki. ¿Eh? Ahí va. Ahí está. Perfecto. Ahí está. Actividad paranormal.
To avoid dealing with these disturbing sounds in the middle of the night, the young man decides to remove that toy. But things seem to get even creepier, and this is what started happening a couple of nights later. This time, strange noises appeared in the room next to him.
Estaba escuchando unos ruidos que venían de la pieza acá. Siempre tiene que pasar a la noche, hermano. Siempre tiene que pasar a la noche, brother. ¿Vos qué onda? ¿Vas a hablar ahora vos? ¿Vas a hablar? ¿Eh? No vas a hablar. No sé la verdad. ¿Qué decir? Mirá, escúchame. Punto número uno. Si vos pensás que me va a asustar cerrando y abriendo puertita, me podés comer bien, ¿está? Punto 2. Si te gusta abrir y cerrar puertita, me podés limpiar los platos, barrer un poquito, ¿sí? Y punto 3, me voy a dormir y te vas a dejar de romper. ¿Estamos? ¿Eh? Nada, es increíble.
This young man seemed to break a fundamental rule, the act of speaking to or trying to communicate with something evil. Did he invite something malevolent into his home? While inspecting an old, deserted hospital hidden away in Indonesia, a security guard faced one of the most frightening experiences he had ever had.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Saya ngecium bau nggak enak teman-teman di sini. Astagfirullahaladzim ya Allah. Astagfirullahaladzim ya Allah.
The facility had been closed for years, with dim corridors, shattered windows, and a silence so intense it seemed to have its own presence. That particular night, during his patrol, he detected a soft shuffling noise coming from one of the patient rooms. Intrigued, he started to record what was happening. As his flashlight beam moved across the corridor, a small figure came into view, a child-sized shape standing completely still in the darkness, pale, unmoving, and staring. For a brief moment, nothing happened. Then, suddenly, it jerked. Just a single movement. That was all it took. The guard spun around and fled, his heavy footsteps bouncing off the walls of the vacant hallways. Some people claim it was merely shadows playing tricks, but according to him, that child wasn't human. He believes he encountered a ghost that night. Could this actually be true? The next clip comes from an overnight cemetery guard. One evening during his patrol, he filmed a walkthrough for his brother-in-law to show the crematorium on the grounds. He says the place turns truly unsettling after dark, so he wanted to explain why he dislikes checking that section. For anyone who does not know, a crematorium is where the dead are cremated and reduced to ash. Those ashes are placed into urns that families later keep. As he keeps the camera rolling, this is what ends up on video.
They turn off automatically at a certain hour. And I'll tell you right now, I'm going to walk you through now, I have a friend that works that he would see and hear things coming from these furnaces when they're burning the bodies. So when I'm walking through here, they usually put the urns out to send to the families. So when I'm walking here at night, I walk right by these urns that they put on these tables here. And then I come down, freaking out.
The room already felt eerie, and what happens next makes it worse. As he passes the furnaces, something odd occurs, and the mic captures it.
Now I have a friend that works.
It still is not over, because moments later, something else occurs. The lid on the urn slowly begins to open by itself. He takes off running in a panic and then stops to catch his breath. And seeing that, it looks as if someone had stepped out from inside. With no way to explain any of it, he clocks out on the spot and tells his boss what happened. And it is clear the guard plans to keep his distance from that area. Little else is known about that night, or why the urn seemed to come alive. Now to a really disturbing case. Chess and his wife were sleeping in what had been his grandfather's house, who had recently passed away. During the early morning hours, while they were completely alone, something unsettling began to happen. Pay close attention to what follows.
Me and my wife were staying at her grandpa's house that he recently passed away
How
in.
you doing? You okay? You
We
look
kept
freaked out?
hearing the bedroom door trying to open.
So, We were just going to bed and we're not... Let me just show you. Like, we've literally had to put the bag up against the door because we're not sure.
We weren't going to stay here anymore because it got worse. It was time to go.
And like, we're literally just...
I packed up our things and took my wife to the car and came back to grab our stuff and left the bedroom door open behind me.
In a chilling manner, the door begins to move as if someone was behind it, trying to force it open. The couple, not fully understanding what was happening and fearing things might get worse, decided to quickly pack up and leave the house. However, it was at that exact moment when the phenomenon manifested itself once more, even more persistently and frightening. Watch what happens next.
Okay, so we're leaving. We got all of our stuff packed. Okay. Yeah, we're out of here.
What
Rachel's
do you
already in
think?
the car. I'm leaving. Like, I don't know what's going on.
A door closed inexplicably behind Chess. Some believe this could be the grandfather's spirit. However, others think it might be an entity that could have taken advantage of the grandfather's departure to claim its place in the house. But what do you believe? It started with a noise, distinct, jarring, and always coming from the storeroom. The security guard had been hearing it during his night shifts for weeks. Initially, he dismissed it as normal building noises, but the sound kept coming back. Finally, one night, he decided to capture evidence. He positioned his phone near the doorway, started recording, and waited quietly. One of the massive boxes had toppled over by itself. No windows were open, no signs of animals, just complete stillness. Yet something seemed off. The atmosphere felt thick, almost electric. Though he saw nobody else, he sensed he wasn't alone. Ever since that experience, he has avoided that corridor whenever possible. It was a slow night on duty when a security guard began reviewing footage from the outside cameras. Nothing unusual, just routine surveillance. But then something strange caught his eye. On the monitor, a faint figure appeared near the gate. And what happened next made him freeze. The figure passed straight through the locked gate, moving as if the barrier didn't exist. The area was brightly lit, every corner visible. But the figure, no shadow, no detail, just a faint shape gliding forward, then fading away. The guard replayed the footage thinking it was a glitch. It wasn't. The image was clear and chilling. Even stranger, the motion sensors didn't react. It was like the system couldn't see it. Some call it a reflection, others aren't so sure. And the guard still wonders if that thing wasn't supposed to be there. What else is out there that we can't explain? guard walked his path every day. Same route, same bridge. Nothing ever seemed out of the ordinary. Until that night. Beneath the bridge, something was there. Still, twisted, almost human, but not quite.
Está uno en medio de la nada, bueno, abajo de un puente, y de pronto te topas con esta silueta.
At first he thought it was a mannequin, dumped like trash, but the longer he stared, the more wrong it felt. Its limbs too long, its skin gray and thin, and its face like it was trying to scream without making a sound. Just slightly, barely enough to notice, a shadow, shaped like a boy, just standing there, staring. No face, no sound, just there. The guard froze, his breath caught in his throat. He called out, thinking maybe someone was messing with him. But the figure didn't react, it didn't flinch, it just stood still like it had been waiting. And then, in the blink of an eye, it vanished. How creepy. Time to dig into some vintage footage from the Paranormal Paranoids archives. These clips from their Twitter, @JustTheParanoid, show some truly mysterious moments. Let's start with their visit to Keogh Falls, Ohio, as the team makes their way through the trees.
To most people, this forest is the same as any, but to the people of Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, who remember what occurred in 1994, these woods hold a sinister story. This is where it happened. It was almost as if she wanted to be found, wanted to be seen.
But what really got everyone talking was that mysterious figure that showed up in the background, something the team still can't explain.
I don't think it's there, Peter. Yeah.
Over here.
Should be back. Okay.
All right, what are we doing?
Smiling, right?
Smile? Yeah. Okay.
Then there's their night at Dark County Correctional Facility.
It all happened here, inside of these walls.
God. What is that?
The inmates that were brought here in the 1930s, they were maximum security. Did you do that?
Wait, did you do that?
I didn't touch anything.
What? How? You feel what?
Cold. Holy shit. Riley, what? What? Look at this.
God, how far back does that go?
I have no idea.
Show. That's pretty cool, yeah, sorry. So, get this show.
So we made it. Lincoln Elementary. This school has an incredible haunted history, dating all the way back to 1970s.
During their walkthrough, cameras caught what looks like a translucent shadow floating right behind one of the investigators. But it's their Lincoln Elementary School investigation that really stands out.
True. David, what do you think?
I don't know. See what links us to this? Looks like she's stabbed right through it. Good scared stab. Steve.
Hey, Dad, break a toe with that. Riley, don't go out by yourself, Riley. Chill. Where did that come from? I don't know.
What they caught on camera was so unsettling that it's rumored to be one of the main reasons the Paranormal Paranoids decided to call it quits. Just imagine what could have been so terrifying that it made a seasoned ghost hunting team pack up their gear for good. This video was captured by a couple who was on their way home the following night. Weirdly enough, they state that in this part of town, a lot of strange encounters had been documented over the past few years. And yes, even a lot of ghost sightings. On a related note, a lot of traffic accidents had occurred there over the last 20 to 30 years. The two told their viewers that they weren't exactly sure what they had seen at the time, but it must have been extremely bone-chilling. Look at that ghoulish face. The couple believes that this might have been one of the many traffic victims that had left our physical world over the years. Their viewers state that the face looks burnt and that it's an extremely sinister visage. Of course, we cannot say if this wasn't just a person with a scary mask on, or if there was something inexplicable going on. Pretty eerie. The next video was captured in the basement of Mark and shared on his channel Donny Drunkard. He's documenting the haunting in his home for several years now, and I highly recommend you check him out. He was attempting to contact the spirit world once again, and the following video was part of a live stream that Mark had conducted. It was broadcasted live on his channel at the time.
Come.
And what's interesting about this recording is that a viewer of his noticed an odd anomaly the second that Mark is switching the light on.
Damn, it's dark, isn't it? It's dark, isn't it?
We can see something that looks like a weird shadow apparition disappearing into the floor. It's almost impossible to make it out without slowing the footage down. But I'm 100% convinced that this thing is related to all the paranormal encounters in his home. Pretty eerie. The next case has been shared from the home of user Failed Talk Show Host. The man claims that he could hear mysterious noises for the last couple of years, coming from his apartment, and this was mainly happening in the late evening hours. He tried hard to figure out what was going on in his home, but was never lucky enough to uncover the origin of these creepy sounds. However, one night he was noticing the mysterious sounds once more and snapped a photo towards the kitchen from where he could hear them. He enhanced the photo, only to notice what appears to be a very tall figure standing in his kitchen. It's quite the terrifying image, and it seems to be that this apparition is wearing a priest's collar, at least in my opinion. Just look how tall it is. Whatever we are seeing here should not have been there. A few nights after that, the man grabbed his phone again, after hearing these weird noises originating once more. This time he didn't capture anything on his photo, but rather decided to put out his camera, and he started recording for several hours on standby. Once again it is pretty dark, but after enhancing the footage, we can see a figure moving in the dark, and it's pretty clear that this must have been the same person or thing that we had seen in the kitchen photo. I don't think that we are dealing with a squatter here, so is it safe to say that we are seeing something paranormal unfold? Who knows? Our next clip was filmed on a family gathering to celebrate the life of a recently deceased family member. Was the person in question maybe around as well? The person with the camera clearly was not anticipating anything out of the ordinary. It is when they start to film the hallway right next to the living room that a fast shadow can be captured. If you're following my channel, you have seen quite the number of shadow figures. What do you think about this capture here? Real or just a hoax? Next we are gonna check out a video which was captured by a young man on a nightly trip on his motorcycle. The story goes that he was on his way home that night and that he had his GoPro mounted to his helmet for security reasons. After passing by another lane, he states that he heard some weird weeping noises, turned his head and recorded the following. The comments range from this being a strange spirit in a nightgown to it just being a reflection from somewhere or even editing. Could this be a kuntilanak? That's at least what the driver believes. Hard to say. The following case has been documented by a young girl who tells us that her parents are owning a store in their town. They actually live straight across from it on the other side of the alley. There have been many legends about this area of town being haunted, and the whole family is hearing and seeing some really strange things in their store. And ever so often, when nobody seems to be in there, those floating shadows can even be seen through the window. And it doesn't matter if it is day or night. Everybody has been freaked out by these incidents, and the family doesn't really know what to do about them. The girl states, however, that they are considering a cleansing by a priest, and I'll keep my eyes open for any updates regarding this case. It's pretty creepy though, isn't it? Video was uploaded by the Fourth Wall, who upload paranormal content from Japan, and who I like to feature. Fourth Wall states that this footage was sent to them by a user who would like to remain anonymous. According to them, they had seen a ghostly figure in the same spot multiple times on their way home from work at night, so they decide that they will film the spot and see what they catch. The individual who captured the footage said that in person the ghostly figure was much more clear in real life, with even some distinguishing features of a person. However, once the camera was on the ghost, it seemed only a faint white shadow could be seen. It is as though only the spirit's energy was captured on film. Do you think the white shadow, rather than black, might be an indicator that this is a friendly spirit? Notice the way the shadow seems to move and sway slightly. Weird. A man shared a strange moment he caught while watching a response video recorded by a police officer.
Could be very well not engaged in any kind of disturbance whatsoever.
In the clip, someone appears to be walking behind the officer, nothing unusual at first. But then, out of nowhere, the person just vanishes. People quickly pointed out that the individual never actually walked past the officer. The whole thing left people confused and unsettled. A trick of the light? A glitch? Or something weirder? This video was reportedly captured by a sheriff who was called out to investigate a specific spot in the woods. Locals had been complaining about hearing a man screaming for hours on end, and no one could figure out where the sound was coming from. As the officer moves closer to where the voice seems to be coming from, his camera catches something eerie. A pale figure is seen sitting quietly in the distance, just watching him. The moment it stands up, the sheriff doesn't waste a second. He turns and gets out of there. To this day, it's unclear what exactly was caught on tape. Was it a person? Something else? Whatever it was, the encounter left more questions than answers. The following was captured by Night Officer Damien at a supermarket. The man said he'd never experienced anything paranormal until now. This clip marks the beginning of a series of disturbing events that would take place during his night shifts.
Son las 2:12 de la mañana y se escucha un sonidito, como si fuese un despertador. Yo estoy acá completamente solo. Soy el sereno de este supermercado y se escucha algo. ¿Qué es? Allá. Este aparato que se encendió solo. Yo no lo toqué para nada. ¿Y por qué? Ahí dejó de sonar. No, ahí vuelve a sonar otra vez. Está dentro de su paquete
How strange. It turned out to be a motion-activated alert system, meant to beep when someone's nearby. Which means something had to be close enough to trigger it, but that wasn't the end of it. 2 nights later, close to 3 a.m., things got even weirder. Strange power fluctuations.
Lácteos. Y bueno, acabo de escuchar algo en la fiambrería. Debe ser mi amigo el fantasma. ¿Qué querrá, no? Parece que mi amigo el fantasma se quiere comunicar a través de esas luces. Fantasma, ¿quieres tú algo? ¿Estás aquí? Dime. Ah, bueno. ¿Qué quieres? Hola. Bueno. ¿Me dejas trabajar mejor, fantasma? Por favor. ¿Me dejas? Que quiero trabajar tranquilo. Estamos. Por favor.
At this point it was clear something was following Demian, something that seemed to feed off his fear. Objects began falling from shelves, the lights flickered more frequently, and then the shopping cart moved on its own. There was no one near it. Whatever this was, it didn't want to leave him alone.